Hello, my name is Kerry Arthur, and today we're going to take a look at some of the models that Games Workshop revealed over the weekend with the Black Library Weekender, and a preview for the stuff that we'll see at Adepticon in 2020, or at least there's some models in that article. Quite good, a bit of a lead up to that, it turns out. So, this is going to serve a double purpose. Firstly, we're going to look at the models, obviously, and we're also going to highlight the issue with one of them. Because there is a pretty severe issue with one of them, which is a shame because it's a non-Primaris Space Marine. But for some reason, it looks really off to me, and I've been trying to work out why. So, we'll try and work out why. First up, we have these two. So we've got I can never remember their names, Valerian and Leia. There you go. So we've got a new Custodes, and we've got a new Sister of Silence. Now, I have to admit, I like the Sister of Silence. Looks good, although the Sister of Silence generally all look fine, because they all look very, very similar. They all have the same head thing with the big visor on the bottom, a lot of them. So it's, one looks good, therefore pretty much all of them look good. And I do like that pose. It's quite a nice model. The Custodes, I'm not a fan of. I'll put it that way. For me, for some reason, and it's the same with Trajan Valoris, I can't quite get behind them, and I don't know why. There's something about them that just looks a little bit off, but it's only the character ones. The normal infantry guys, they look fine, and I don't know why, but the characters seem to all have the same issue of looking... I don't know, it's like they need to look more imposing, they need to look more unique, but by adding more onto them, they just look a bit over the top, they look a bit cartoony in a way. And I will say that the head on this guy is not helping. It's not helping. Like, I know, it's an ongoing thing, it's a running joke, that I don't like bare heads on models. I can cope with some. I don't know what it is about his head that is just making me not like the model as a whole. It looks out of place. That's the only way I can put it. The way it looks to me, this. And it's a shame, because actually the rest of it I don't mind. It's not as overblown as Trajan Valoris. The kind of the laurel wreath at the top there is maybe a bit much, but I can get with it. It's fine. There's something about the head that makes me think of bloody Bruce Banner in the Hulkbuster suit. In Avengers, not Endgame, the one before it, Infinity War. Whenever the helmet peels back and you can see his head in the suit, like just waving about like it's been superimposed, because it has, because the suit's CG. Like, this looks like that. It looks like he's got someone else's head has been superimposed onto that model. That's the only way I can put it, and I don't even know why. I don't even know why it looks like that to me, but it just does not look right, and I'm trying to work out if there's a way to make that head work for me, and I just don't think there is. It's weird. I mean, I don't mind the rest of the model. The rest of the model's fine. It's not as overblown as Valoris, which is good. It's not as absolutely mad as the Forge World one. Again, name just completely escapes me all the time. I have no brain at the moment. It's terrible. But it's just something about it that I cannot... It just looks wrong. It looks weird. It looks like it's been photoshopped in. I can't even tell you why. And it's a shame, because I really like the Sister of Silence. That model looks really nice. I would say, with the Sister of Silence, I would paint their shoes the same colour as their armour, personally. I think it looks a bit odd that they're a different colour. But that's literally the only complaint I have with that model. It's literally just the paint job, and even then it's one minor aspect of the paint job. The rest of it looks great. But yeah, the actual body of that Custodes looks fine. The pose is okay. I quite like the bases they're on. Those look quite nice. But that head just looks so off and weird. And I wish I knew why, but I just don't. Okay, there's also the other two, so the Warhammer Adepticon 2020. So there is, of course, this. There is the Stormcast Eternal, obligatory Stormcast Eternal. You've got to have one for every special occasion, obviously. It's the same as a Primaris Lieutenant, except this time round, we do not have a Primaris Lieutenant. We've got an actual classic Space Marine Terminator. Librarian Terminator, in fact. And for the most part, I really like this model, but again, the head looks weird. And the head looks weird because it highlights, to me, perfectly the issue that Terminators have always had. Not just Terminators, Space Marines as a whole. Primaris fixed it, but, you know, the standard Space Marines have always had this issue where the body is a bit too squat. And Terminators especially suffer from this because their arms are up and to the side of their head, which means their shoulders must also be somehow to the side of their, like, as though it's growing out of the head. And I was trying to work out how to illustrate this in a way that is easy to visualise. So, I thought we'd do it this way. Now, if you're lucky, I'll remember to edit out that horrible coughing fit I just had. So, here is that Terminator. We can see him in front of us, in front of our very eyes. In fact, let's zoom in a little bit. Should we do 90? Yeah, let's do 90. There we go. Okay, so we have the classic Terminator there. Looks grand, looks great. Let's do a little bit of drawing on said Terminator. So what size brush do we have? Okay, that'll do. So here's the head. Okay, we've got the head there. Fine. With me? All good? Yeah? We've got the legs. The feet start there. The legs go up there. And connect to the waist about there. Now you can already see... you can already see where the problem is, can't you? The human torso... Now, if we put the waist here, like that, there's his waistline there. This guy has got the most absurd and completely unnatural body shape. I mean, those aren't his ears. That's his arms and his shoulders. Okay? Now, for some reason, this Terminator in particular really badly highlights this particular issue. Really badly. It's... Don't get me wrong, right? I love Terminators. I cannot express how much I love Terminators. I have a Strike Force Ultra on the shelf behind me, okay? There are 21 Terminators in there. That is the entire army. It's just Terminators and vehicles. That's it, okay? And yet, it's always been an issue, but for some reason, this Librarian really, really highlights the issue. I mean, I'm being generous there. By connecting the body the way I have, I'm being generous because I'm taking the neck out of the equation. I mean, if we want to go, like, fully accurate, then we get rid of that there, okay? We get rid of that. Because, of course, I didn't even put a neck. If we want to be completely... you could be a neck there, which means that I mean, when you put it like that, obviously that's very silly and slightly exaggerated, but it's only silly and slightly exaggerated because that's the imprint of that dude. This Terminator perfectly highlights that scale issue that they've always had. But for some reason it's so much worse with this one. I don't know whether it's because the hood is further down. I don't know whether it's because the head is lower in that area. I don't know whether it's because the arms seem a little bit higher. I have no clue, but it looks a bit off like that. And then when you actually like break down how he would look inside, you kind of end up with that. And it's an issue they've always had, but this one, I really want to like it more than I do. I like everything but the head. I feel if you move the head up, there's some way of shifting the hood, the Librarian hood, up and the head up. It would fix it. It would be a bit of a cheap fix because it would just be like, okay, well, the body's still small, but you wouldn't get that immediate thing of why are his arms coming out of his ears. You wouldn't get that immediate thing of the head's too low, because right now his skeleton looks like that. I mean, even if we sort out the arms, okay, let's sort out the arms. And like whoever sculpted this, I'm not having a go at you, because this is just an issue with the scale of Space Marines, and it has been for years. Like it's not like you've done a terrible job. I actually really like the model. I just wish that it didn't look like that. I mean, I guess if you want to be generous, you can move the the body up there. But even if you're super generous and you fill in the body, right, fill it in all the way, and then have the shoulders like somehow level with his cheeks, so he's like properly hunched up. I mean, that I guess is a way to sort of get around it. But then you've got this weird situation where his head is like sunk into his chest as though he has no collarbone. I'm happy that it's not a primary Space Marine, that it's a Terminator. I'm happy that it's like not a Primaris dude. I want to see more of this stuff. But that dude's head is totally mangling the look of this, and I think it's because it's just a bit too high. Something about it just perfectly illustrates the problem with the old scaling on these models. There's just something about it that really does perfectly point out, oh yeah, they make no sense. They make no sense at all. Oh my god. So yeah, those are the models that have been revealed. I apologise for that weird tangent that went off on, but never mind. Let me know what you think of those four in the comments down below. Have I completely ruined Space Marines for you now? I apologise if that's the case. I'm sure you already knew it looked weird. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Feel free to click all the things, Patreon, video, subscribe, all that stuff. And of course there is an affiliate link in the description for Element Games. If you click it and buy something, you save between 15 and 25% off. And also I get something for sending you that way, and 10% of it goes to charity at the end of the month. All of that, you know the deal at this point. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Toodaloo.